What is one to make of all this? In order to comprehend fully the semantic import of the rich but contradiction ridden collage, let us take a look at the lines preceding it. The lines preceding it emphasize the principal light motive of the wasteland. The lines focus attention on the spiritual degeneration of Europe, signified by the arid plain, and the moral collapse of Europe, symbolized by the falling down of London Bridge. The question is, shall I at least set my lands in order? This is a question posed by the speaker. The speaker could be the poet. The speaker could be Tiresias. The speaker could be the archetypal European. Is it possible to find a solution to the problem, to put an end to the spiritual degeneration, to reverse the moral collapse, to generate rebirth out of the religious death? The answer to this question is found in the collage. The collage suggests that the solution to the problem is suffering. One must be willing to suffer. Suffering is a source of purification. One should develop detachment. One should face suffering using detachment. This is because one is not going to live permanently in this world, and one should fully realize it. A combination of suffering, detachment, and the wisdom of India as embodied in the instruction of Prajapati, Datta Dayatvam Damyata, is the solution to the great and complex problem faced by Europe. Using this solution, it is possible to reach Shanti. The Sanskrit word Shanti means peace. In his notes, T.S. Eliot explains it as the peace which passeth understanding. He also observes that the repetition of the word Shanti marks the formal ending to an Upanishad. Shanti, or spiritual peace, is what all of us aim at, is what Europe presently lacks, and what Europe desires, what Europe has to attain. The wasteland makes it clear that this great peace, this profound peace, this spiritual peace can certainly be attained by the civilization of Europe using a combination of suffering, purificatory suffering, detachment, and the wisdom of India. We are now moving towards the end of the wasteland. The wasteland concludes with a brilliant collage into which are stuck bits and pieces from various differing sources. We shall try to identify the most important of these bits and pieces. First of all, we have a line from the Divine Comedy of Dante Alighieri, Purgatorio, to be more specific. Arno Daniel and Dante are both characters. Arno Daniel, undergoing the pain of the cleansing fires of purgatory, asks Dante to remember his pain, to remember his suffering. There is an input from the early Christian era Latin poem Per Vigilium Veneris, or the Vigil of Venus, in which the poet, the anonymous poet, laments his isolation and the fact that he is not being heard. There is a reference to the myth of Procne, who was turned into a swallow by the gods. There is an input from the French sonnet El Desdichado by Gerard de Naval, which speaks of the importance of suffering and the importance of undergoing suffering with detachment. There is a reference to the Spanish tragedy of Thomas Kyd, whose secondary title is Hieronymus Mad Again. The poet also repeats the three interpretations of the sound uttered by Prajapati through the voice of thunder. Datta Dayadvam Damyata. The collage is brought to a close by the repetition Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. In his notes, T.S. Eliot defines Shanti as the peace that passeth understanding. In Sanskrit, the word Shanti is used as an incantation to refer to spiritual peace.